Hello everybody, and today I'm going to teach you how to write calligraphy. And I really like calligraphy because it's pretty and it makes people think that you put a lot more time into making something even though you really didn't. And it's a good skill to have. So you can write basically anything and it'll look really nice. So we're first going to start with what pen to use. The one I use is called Speedball Elegant Writer. And these are really good. They don't dry out very quickly. They come in a variety of colors, and you can get them at Michael's or Joann's, wherever, or even online too. They're pretty inexpensive. They're only it's $4 for one pen, and with a coupon it's about $7 or $8, I guess, for a multi-pack. So they're really good. And when you're looking for these, I would also definitely look at the size. 2.5 means how thick the tip is here. You can see this one's pretty thin. It's a 2.5 millimeter, but I find that if you go any smaller than this one, the tip gets way too thin, and it's really hard to make a nice calligraphy line. But if you go a little bit thicker, then the line might get a little bit too big. Even though I do prefer thicker ones, but for teaching people how to first write calligraphy, 2.5 millimeters is the best. So today we're just going to be looking at how to form the letters when you write calligraphy, and then later on you'll be able to connect those letters so they kind of look more together and not as disjointed. Now the important thing to know about calligraphy is that it's not just one movement that you do when you make a letter. So instead of just going like this to write an A, you actually have to do separate strokes, because that's basically what calligraphy is, different strokes to make your letters. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is make sure you angle your pen 45 degrees. So here's held flat. Now you're going to turn your wrist or turn your fingers to the left so that your pen is at a 45-degree angle right here. And this just means that your pen will have the thick strokes where they're supposed to be thick, and then your lines will also be thin where they're supposed to be. And to check to make sure that your angle is correct, I recommend doing a check mark. So if you see right here, it's thick at the end, but it gets thinner, that's what indicates that it's 45 degrees, and that's what you really want for this. So just do that a couple times to make sure that you have thick at the bottom and then a thin tail, because that's going to be really useful later on. So we're just going to go through the alphabet, or I'll do a couple letters, and then on my website, learntravelart.com, I'm actually going to upload the completed alphabet with what strokes you're supposed to be doing for each one. So let's start with the letter A. So what you're going to do is take your pen here, and you're going to go down like this. So that's the first stroke that you want to practice. So you go here, down, and a little flick up. So it looks like a C almost. That's the first stroke. After you go down and do the little flick, and make sure to see how my pen's angled, you're going to go down, start from the top, go down, and make another flick up. And this is in the italic script. I don't know, I just found what it's actually called online, but there's a whole different bunch of scripts depending on what part of the country it comes from. So again, you go down here, flick up, and like this. So it's going to be thicker on the end here, and then once it connects to the second stroke, it's going to be thinner. So the A only has 2 strokes, but a lot of different letters like W's and M's have even 3 or 4 strokes. Okay, so let's do the letter B. So you're going to start 45 degrees, you're going to curve down. See how it's thick here? It goes thin, then it kind of curves down. And then for the B, you're going to do the same motion that you did for the A. So you're going to go up, and then you're going to go down. So it's basically just a reverse of what I did for the A. It's like a backwards C almost. So for the B, the hardest part, you can get the line pretty easy, the one that curves down. But the hardest part is to make sure you go up and go down. So it gets thin here, and then it goes thick to the bottom. And that really is what creates the calligraphied letters, is the alternating thick and thin lines. It just makes it look almost 3D, which is really pretty, and I love calligraphy. So for the C, that's the first stroke, second stroke. The C is basically what we just did for the A, except without the second stroke attached to it. So you're just going to go down, flick up, and there's your C. And that's also kind of what an L looks like, but we'll get to that later. So that's the first stroke. That one's pretty easy. And then D is basically you're just doing a B, but the opposite way. So like you just did with the C, you're going to do a little mini C there. And then just like the B, you're going to do a line curving down and then flick up. to do your tiny C, curve it down and flick up so it gets thin. So it gets thick here, down, and then it gets thinner. There we go. And I'm going to do the E's because a lot of people have trouble with these just because they're a little bit hard to get in the first place. So you're going to start like you're going to do an A, but instead of starting all the way at the top, you're kind of going to start like halfway through the A, and you're going to curve it down. So you're going to start here. So it's like a little, almost looks like a comma or one of those little punctuation marks. So it's almost like a crescent moon here. Then at the top, you're going to reconnect with this thin line at the top and arc your pen down. So again, you have here a little moon, and then you're going to go up and then go down. And what's hard about this letter is that it gets thick right here and then it goes thin. So just practice that. You have your pen angled, you're going to hold it like this. So that's basically the hardest part about doing an E. And it takes a while, but once you just practice it all the time, just practice calligraphy on everything, just write down different passages, whatever, and there we go, then it becomes a lot easier. And I'll just do G, just for fun. It's basically like the others. You're going to do a little first stroke they do for an A, then instead of going up, you're going to curve down like this. And I also like to add a little tail so it looks a little more fancy. And then I'll skip to some of the harder letters, like H isn't that hard. You just go here. I'll just go through it. The I's are also kind of difficult. I'll show you first and I'll explain it. There we go. So you're going to start with your pen, arc up, and then go down. So it's almost like an S, just kind of the other way. And then to make this diamond punctuation dot, you're just going to take your pen that's in the 45-degree angle, and it's going to drag it down and then lift up. So it creates this really pretty diamond effect that I really like. And then here we have J, K, line down, and just like you did for the E, and then this, and then L's are basically just C's, just a little bit bigger. So you go up, down, curve up. M's are a little bit harder. You take your line, go down, and then just repeat that. So here you get the thick, the thin, thick, the thin. That's what you really want. And like that. O's are also kind of difficult. It's like you're doing two E's. So the first stroke that you did for an E, you're just going to do that and then repeat it on the other side. Like that. O's are also really difficult. P, Q, R. S. Now S's are also a little bit challenging. These are separated into different strokes as well. So you take your pen, go down just like that, and then to make the middle part of the S, you go out. Then to make the end, come back in. And these are S's are always a little bit subject to how your pen is at the time. So down here, your S's are always gonna look different no matter what you do. And they're my worst letters. QST, U, V, W. I'll do the W's again because those are a little bit hard. You go down, make another stroke in, you kind of make another stroke out, and then W, X, stroke this way, Y, and Z. So this is just the basic alphabet here. And I'm going to upload a document on my website that has all the letters plus the strokes. So once you master these basics, then it's a lot easier to start connecting your letters and actually making them look like really pretty calligraphy that's not supposed to be disjointed. That's kind of the whole point. But to learn the basics of just the letters is really useful, especially later on when you're connecting them. So if you want to write your name, like if I wrote my name, Mackenzie here, this is what it would look like when they're all together. See how they all kind of touch a little bit here, like the C touches the K, the E touches the N, and this one's not very good, but it gets better once you start practicing and making sure they connect. So I hope this lesson was really helpful, and I hope you're excited to learn calligraphy because it's really useful, especially when you're writing greeting cards, because it just makes you look really fancy, and it's fun to do, and it has a lot of history, and it's just fun to be a part of that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and watch out for more.